Hi everyone, Thomas Songlar here, project lead for CardanoBI. Today, I'll take you through our project close report. We'll have a look at the project overview. Then we'll move on to its architecture and deliverables. We'll then do a short project retrospective before moving on to a more interactive demo. Finally, we'll conclude by looking at the future of CardanoBI. So CardanoBI is a Fund 8 project within the Open Source Development Ecosystem Challenge. The requested funds were a little over $49,000. And our solution did build a fully open source business intelligence API layer for Cardano, providing commoditized access to on-chain data and derived analytics, as well as enabling new data-driven services. So how does CardanoBI answer the OSDE challenges? It addresses mainly two of them. First, the need for community contributions to sustainable open source development. Well, obviously, we're fully open source and we've built shared capabilities which are accessible and extensible by all. But also, we've attempted to create a sustainable business model in order to keep supporting the Cardano open source ecosystem in the long run. Second, the need for collaborations and knowledge sharing. Here, we've built great tools, documentations, and tutorials that deliver a first-class user experience, thus enabling and promoting an effective collaboration and knowledge sharing amongst our end users. Let's now explore what CardanoBI delivered, and we will do so by starting from the beginning, i.e. from its architecture. Here, the capability view gives a bird's eye view of all the capabilities built by the project. Each of these capabilities translate into a specific deliverable, which we'll detail later in the presentation. In the logical view, which we won't detail here, we can find the same capabilities discussed previously, from the engagement layer in blue, the security layer in orange, the business layer in green, through to the external layer. This view gives a further breakdown of each capability into its individual building blocks or components. Let's move on to the CardanoBI deliverables. We'll start off with the portal. Its main function is to act as the project website where customers can discover our functionalities, create a free account to start using our free SaaS API. Now is actually a good time to mention how our API is organized. It is organized in three distinct domains. The core domain is where all core on-chain Cardano data entities live, from blocks, transaction, to pools, to SPO pools, most recently, for instance. The BI domain is where our derived analytics live. And last, but certainly not least, our partner domain is dedicated to the integration of third-party data, either on-chain or off-chain, with a view to create revenue sharing opportunities and synergies with other projects. Our second deliverable is our API reference documentation. It is built with Docusaurus for its great look and feel. It is used for endpoint discovery, for education, thanks to our tutorials, and for communication about our project updates through its blog. Now, for the other deliverables which are not visible because they live in our backend, I will refer to their corresponding GitHub repositories. Starting with the CardanoBI API backend, which handles the business logic to expose our secured REST endpoints for all our domains. Our Node.js SDK repository allows our users to integrate our API easily. All that is required is a pair of API key and secret. Our API management repository provides necessary tools and components to manage our API gateway. And last but not least, our identity server repository enables OAuth flows to secure our endpoints. And of course, these four deliverables and their respective GitHub repositories are fully open source. Now, let's dive into our project retrospective. And here I'm using a red, amber, green status, and thankfully there are no reds. Project management, amber. So we've used GitHub projects for tracking and the Catalyst monthly reporting. The overall timeline spanned 12 months between July 2022 and July 2023 versus 7 months estimated. This is mainly due to team readiness and challenges with the Cardano data model denormalization. Team dynamics, green. Effective collaboration in the core team and with external hires. There was good morale throughout the execution of the projects despite the hurdles that we encountered. Technology and tools, green. No radical pivots were required. The chosen tech stack proved effective and fit for purpose. Solution design, Amber. We didn't pay enough attention to the normalized nature of CardanoDB Sync's data model. Consequently, we underestimated the effort required to denormalize it in order to deliver a read-optimized API layer. We had to descope, unfortunately, the data visualization capability and reduce the scope of our shared components as a consequence. Our key takeaway is to do further due diligence and analysis on project dependencies like CardanoDB Syncs and allow for more contingency on external components. Let's move on to our demo. We will open the portal and we'll find the CardanoBI documentation and GitHub links. We will then register for a free account and create an API key and secret. With those, we'll make requests to the CardanoBI API using the SDK, Postman, and curl. All right, folks, let's get to it. Let's go to our portal. So from the portal, you can really access three important areas: our documentation, and we'll go back to it in a minute, our blog, and our GitHub. So on our GitHub, you can really explore all the repositories for all the capabilities we mentioned earlier. On our blog, you get to hear about the latest development of BI, as we like to call it. And finally, our API reference documentation provides a comprehensive guide to the functionalities, features, and usage of our API. As mentioned before, our API is organized by domains, and here an end user can really explore each of them and identify the endpoints which is relevant for his business use case. All right, now let's head back to the portal and we will log in using Google. And from there, we will create a new project. We'll call it tests running against the mainnet. Once saved, we are provided with an API key and API secret. Let's now explore how to use those to interact with CardanoBI. The first way to interact with CardanoBI is to use our SDK. So I've prepared a very simple script here that you can see, and all I have to do now is move both the API key and the API secret in the instantiation of the CardanoBI object. And from there, I will simply call the core domain and ask to be provided with the latest block. And here it is. At the time of recording, this is the latest block from mainnet. So the second way to interact with CardanoBI is with Postman. Postman is very popular with developers and API product managers alike when testing APIs. But unlike with our SDK, where the bearer token is abstracted to you, here with Postman, we will have to provide it. So to that end, I've added this line here to our demo.js file that will print the bearer token, and therefore I'll be able to copy this bearer token into Postman like so. And from there, I'll be able to use and query the same block's endpoint in order to retrieve the latest block from mainnet. So the third way to interact with CardanoBI that I wanted to demonstrate is with a bash command called curl. So this is mainly for developers and terminal lovers, obviously. As described in our quick start tutorial on the left-hand side, we first request a bearer token from the CardanoBI identity server by issuing a GET request to the connect token endpoint and passing our API key and API secret. So for the sake of time, I've prepared the request already. With the bearer token, we can then query the CardanoBI API by issuing a GET request to the block's latest endpoint, passing our bearer token and API key. Again, I've prepared the requests, and when these requests return as a response, we get the latest block as of recording. That's it for our demo today. I hope you enjoyed it and that it triggered some sort of coding envy, and that you'll soon try our API for yourself. Now is the time to conclude this Project Close report video. All in all, this has been a great experience on both the technical front and the people front. Now, what is next for CardanoBI? Well, first, we want to enhance our marketing presence on social media platforms to better promote CardanoBI. We want to produce additional tutorials about the deployment, management, and utilization of CardanoBI's capabilities. We want to expand on our partner domain through the pursuit of strategic partnerships. And last but not least, we would like to apply for a second round of funding from Catalyst Fund 10 to complete both the reusable components and data visualization dashboard capabilities. Thank you for watching this video until the end, and we hope to see you around. Take care.